Well, politicians aren't normally known as fashion icons, but in the US presidential race, the focus is on the candidates' grooming habits this time around.
OK, this is all because Hillary Clinton wore a slightly low-cut neckline during a debate, and it made headlines around the world. The focus on her cleavage rather than her national security policy has caused outrage. But what does our jury think? Here on the couch is commentators Suzanne Mostyn and Paul Murray from Triple M. Well, this is Hillary's outfit here.
Let's have a look.
Paul, we're going to have a quick
I haven't
look.
seen it yet.
Oh, so saucy.
Outrageous.
Nearly low enough to see her pierced belly button.
You baggy-eyed.
Suzanne, OK, is this worth the scandal it's created?
Absolutely not. But here we are talking about it. Isn't that the way things get happening? I just think the scrutiny of this sisterhood is a bit harsh. Apparently it was a fashion writer from the Washington Post who had a real dig at Hillary. Who doesn't like a bit of jiggle when they wiggle? I wish I had a bit more. And it wasn't even that bad. It was, what, this much?
Look, as someone who does have jiggle when they wiggle, you're going OK, don't worry.
So you're a bit like Bill Clinton then. He was criticised for having man boobs, wasn't he? And that was the big thing. But it was said in jest. The thing that I can't understand about this is that Condoleezza Rice, remember when she started in high office and she had the buttoned up, stitched up kind of look, and people said she's got the black boots and she's trying to be very masculine and be a man. You're caned either way, aren't you? If you're too masculine, where's your femininity?
Yeah, Paul, it appears that all the women in Bill Clinton's life, their dresses get spoken about a lot. What do you think about this one?
I would think that there are two things about this. Firstly, the person who actually wrote this story has actually won, like, journalism awards for their analysis of politics. So either, you know, you can view that either way. But so just like winning a Walkley here. But also, I think it also is something to say about how many debates there are and how either bored we are with the things that they're saying. Because it's like, the automatic response is, of course, this is rubbish, and it is rubbish. But there's also a chance that we've kind of heard her talk about terrorism in Iraq and all of that before, and if she's wearing a different colour, well, then that's going to be...
So it's the art of distraction, do you think?
Why not?
The breast art of distraction, not the best, the breast
Whenever I
art of
want to win an argument, man cans. That'll happen.
It was interesting, this article was the most clicked-on article
Of course it was.
on their website.
That's it.
But the author actually said it's kind of like one of those moments where you see a man with his fly on zip and you think, look away. But did she know that, you know, we could have been talking about Bill in the same context. You know, he had his fly open quite a bit, we know. But it became a bit of a joke. Let's leave Hillary alone, leave the twins away. You know, it's not an issue. Why are we even talking about it?
Yeah, but the thing is that there's sort of a bit of a thing always about these stories, a little bit of a snob factor that kicks in.
Yes.
Because you watch every single day on SMH or news.com.au or on Yahoo 7, is that they'll always have in the top 5 stories some junky celebrity story, and quite often the #1 story. It doesn't mean it's more important, it doesn't mean you don't cover the real one, but if people want to eat junk food, they can.
All right, we'll just move on, but before we do, could you just do top button up, please? You're distracting people. Well, it sounds like something out of a science fiction flick, this one, but Australian employees could start being refused jobs on the basis of genetic tests. True. There have been several cases of this kind of discrimination around the world, and experts fear there's not enough protection for employees to stop it happening here. Paul, is it fair to discriminate against someone on the basis of a disease? They might have something like that?
Oh, of course not. Is that I would think that this actually, we're looking again, the half-empty kind of thing. You need to flip this around. This is clearly very valuable technology. When you're running a business and you want to have, say, someone, you're running a finance company, you want to check that someone has a predisposition to a drug addiction, so they will join your company and fit in with the culture. You want to know that when you're putting people on TV or radio, there's personality disorders. These are the people that fit in. It's looking for dysfunction, not weeding it out.
Yeah, that's true actually, because we've had Narcanon, Al-Anon, and all of us could qualify for on and on and on and on.
Yeah, that's right.
Perfect. Do my genetic testing.
I mean, some employers already use psychological testing and drug testing, so it's not entirely a bad thing.
It's not, but then I think when it comes to things like really degenerative conditions, Huntington's disease, dementia, Alzheimer's, those sorts of things can be incredibly damaging because you're very productive in your early years, and why should you be discriminated against because of something that may happen later on when you might have moved on to another form of employee? So I think it could be used both ways, in a nasty way against employees, but also employees.
And I say well done to you two who introduced the urinalysis tests for everyone before they come on, and if it's not green, you're not on. And I think that's good. I think that's good.
Green's good, you get the green light to come on.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. If it's normal, well, thank you. Not for our show. You've got to be a bit, you know, baroque it up.
Yeah. And congratulations on your pregnancy too. You just snuck that test in as well.
Twins are due in October. Finally today, we're talking about that. We're asking that age-old question. Can men and women ever really be just friends? Suzanne.
Yes, absolutely. I have lots of lovely male friends, and it's great to have a chinwag, get a different perspective than your husband's. You know, no such thing as sexual tension. It's great to have, you know, lunch and a chat about celebrities. If your partner's not interested in Hollywood and all things Paris. Paris Hilton, actually, did you know that it says prisoner in there, to prison? If you move her the letters of her name around?
Jiggle them
yes,
around?
I've done that.
You and
To
your
prison.
smart brain!
So I could talk about that with some of my male friends.
So what,
before
your
my
husband doesn't want to
rigid.
sit down and play those word games with you?
Isn't that strange?
Weird.
He likes playing other games with me.
Are they your straight friends?
Guess
Are they your
who?
straight
I
friends?
imagine.
They are. They actually are. Yeah, and it's lovely. It's a really lovely compliment to your female friendships, I think.
Do you feel as though you want to jump across this couch now and give Suzanne a kiss?
Endlessly. Endlessly.
What do you think? Can guys and girls be friends
I
without
always
that
think,
sexual tension?
I would say this, and I'll be very honest, I think that there is, be it 1% or something, that is always part of it, but you just get through it. It's quite easy. You end up, you know, either getting drunk, having a really dirty conversation. That's the way through it.
That'll shut it
That's
down.
what actually happens. But also, this question, and I know this is where you're going to cut me loose, is that this question is always brought up by women. Men never ask this question. Ever, ever. Can you be... Yeah, of course you can. That's the thing. It's never, ever brought up by a bloke, this question. Ever.
I don't know
Listen
about
to the
that.
silence.
I don't know
That's
about
available
that.
on DVD.
I was just trying to think about that for a moment.
No, well, that's the thing. This question is, well, it comes out of a Grey's Anatomy episode.
Yeah.
Not exactly the footy show, but still.
Yeah.
I mean, these relationship questions that'll be in the glossy mags, it is just generally never brought
Or
up.
do you
by
mean
blokes.
just take it for granted that, yes, they do want to do something with their friends and think there's nothing...
But they just never act on it.
Yeah, they never act on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I think in absolute honesty,
yes.
we would enjoy having lots of female friends because while you're committed to your partner, you're not saying it's about options, but it's about having other women in your life as friends. So while you don't act on sexual impulses or anything, they'll satisfy other parts of you. And if you're honest about your relationship, there'll be someone you talk about work with who mightn't be your partner. And that might be either a bloke at work or a woman at work.
In some cultures, there's the art of flirtation, you know, flirting, and it's very non-sexual, but it's a way of just heightening your interest in other people and showing your enjoyment of them, but in a very asexual way. And I think there's nothing wrong with some harmless flirtation.
Just
You've
quietly.
practiced that line,
Yes,
haven't you?
yeah, that's good.
No,
Yeah, that's very
I
good.
just really think that it's important that you have strong male friendships as well as female, because they do have you guys have such a black and white kind of get over it mentality, and it's really refreshing because women can sit there and
get over it, come
growl
on,
over things.
get over it.
It's
You
wonderfully
and your
refreshing,
words.
isn't it?
We have to get over this. I do want to say that I appreciate everything you've said and I agree with everything you said. However, I work in an office with 12 girls,
Yeah, I know.
so
Hey.
I've got to keep quiet. pretty much. I've just got to shut up on this one.
This has been a fun final appearance on the show. Thank you. No, it's been good.
Thanks for everything you've ever done. Paul and Suzanne, thank you very much, guys.
See ya.
Fun as always. And we'll see you next week.
Ooh.
Or later, whatever
later.
the case may be.